pleasant good morning to you and welcome to another morning of the COVID-19 response report for today, Wednesday, the 10th of June, 2020. My name is Jessie Leonce. I'm joined in studio as usual every morning by my colleague Carlton Cyril. Good morning, Carlton.
Good morning, Jessie, and good morning, St. Lucia, Monsieur Gordon. Encore toujours un plaisir pour nous ici à Headquarters COVID-19 qu'on nous a ba information avec développement expressement là il pour faire et puis COVID et puis bon matin pas pièce différent et puis nous ici à nous les guests nous ca turn hardly et plita et nous ca dit merci pour ces gens qui ca ver sur Facebook ou qui ca écouter sur radio nous ca dit bonjour ba aussi toujours un plaisir et rester en écoute et puis nous ni information avec développement Headquarters COVID-19 à sur mercredi et bon matin jeudi c'est le 10 juin. Non, moi c'est Carlton Cyril.
Thanks for that, Carlton. And you sort of let the cat out of the bag. We have a special guest in studio this morning, Mr. Gordon Julien. He is the country manager of the Republic Bank as well as the public relations officer of the Bankers Association of St. Lucia. And he's here this morning to give us some information about moratoriums, the moratoriums that are being given out by the financial institutions here in St. Lucia as per the social stabilization plan of the government here on island. Before we get to that, I just want to say good morning to you, Mr. Julien.
Good morning, Jessie. Good morning, Carlton. Good morning, listeners.
But before we get to that, I just want us to go over some very important updates this morning. We have an update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Chief Medical Officer, speaking on repatriations. Today we are expecting a repatriation flight for 94 St. Lucians who are stranded in the United States. We'll be giving you some more information on that in just a moment. Also, we have the total number of paid claims from NIC. You remember the income support initiative of the NIC. Up to 9,816 individuals have benefited. A total amount paid out in claims, $8,097,206.05. The average amount paid per claim is $824.90. We will be getting into those details and more, but first we hear from the CMO speaking on repatriation, ongoing testing, as well as the hurricane season, preparation for the hurricane season on the health front. Take a listen.
We also continue testing the patients who access care at the respiratory clinics and the community level. Over 67 physicians and nurses were tested, and over 152 fire service and emergency medical technicians and fire service officers were tested at this time. We continue to note negative test results for the frontline workers and persons who access care at the respiratory clinics. We've carried out a total of 1,204 tests to date. The Ministry of Health and Wellness would like to alert the public that as we open up the sectors, the risk of transmission increases. We can reduce this risk by ensuring the public health and social measures are maintained. We also anticipate new cases. However, if we all comply by the guidelines and maintain them, the possibility for transmission is minimized.
That was Dr. Sharon Belmar-George speaking there on the latest testing that's ongoing, as well as giving us information on the last case of the repatriated cruise national being confirmed as a COVID-19 case, and she's continuing to be treated. St. Lucia continues to receive repatriated nationals, including students, cruise workers, and residents who were stranded during the border closure. And speaking of which, we have the 94 St. Lucians who were stranded in the United States being repatriated, scheduled to be repatriated today at midday. We have an additional clip from the CMO speaking on preparations for the hurricane season as well.
Although our focus has been on COVID-19, we must prepare for the hurricane season as it commences on June 1st. This period of increased rainfall also signifies increases in vector-borne diseases such as dengue fever and leptospirosis. We advise the public to pay special attention to their immediate surroundings to ensure it is clean and not providing a breeding ground for mosquitoes and rats. The vector awareness plan by the Ministry of Health will be launched later this month.
That was CMO Dr. Sharon Belmar-George speaking on preparations for the hurricane season. And as we know, it began on June 1st, and the period of increased rainfall, you know, the CMO indicating that it would increase vector-borne diseases such as dengue fever, leptospirosis, and the general advisory to the public to pay special attention to their immediate surroundings. I think, Alton, that sensitization has been years and decades in the making, on, you know, making sure you don't have, you know, stagnant water around your home, to ensure that you reduce the population of these vectors as much as possible.
Rightly so, Jesse, and we keep hearing it's the hurricane season, and be prepared. Added to that, I guess this time around we have to deal with a pandemic, COVID, and of course it's a double whammy. Encore bon matin, nous avons parlé des informations qui a fait expressément les vini pour nous en Saint-Lucie, ou tant la CMO chef médical officier ni pour faire pour santé ici, qu'a parlé à sous côté nous exafé COVID là, qui dit les vini pour situation pour date. Nous avons 19 personnes qui ont conformé et qui testé positif, 18 ont recouvert 100%. Au cas où nous avons Mounza qui vient en travail, il était qu'à travailler sous ces bateaux, il retourne et puis après il y a isolation qui a pris traitement, qu'on nous bien content pour savoir ça. Et puis là il vient pour situation au cas où encore des poids retourner cette liste, il y a ces protocoles qui sont en place, c'est date qui ou fait 14 jours dans facilité quarantine, côté il y a examiner avec yo fait test quand encore si moi fait kuyala tanika à présent yo ka mettre attention yo à ce monde qui directement ka travailler puis ces gens covid là personne qui trouvé quoi yo testé et puis ces gens qui ka repatrier via en Saint-Lucie yo ka mettre attention yo à sous ça plus passé 67 physiciens au cas savent nord et puis du fois monde qui a travaillé dans secteur a trouvé quoi yo testé en parmi ça aussi 152 les venus pour ces gens pompiers yo tout a trouvé quoi yo testé et puis ces gens qui apporté mon état de secours ça c'est ces gens ambulance et puis ces gens qui casualty nous et puis là tout ce monde ça a tourné négatif qui c'est un bon bagage quand pour date là bien veille mais tout bail ensemble yo a fait à peu près 1204 tests pour date quand un ministère a dit yo vle public lan changer nous en bas en état de secours toujours là il vient pour glo et puis nous ca combattre 20 000 covid là quand Wislan là il vient pour transmettre là c'est ça yo kan empêcher quand yo ka mando souple fait tout ça ou ni pour faire parmi eux chaîne distance sociale laver les mains servir masse public avec sous ka senti malade trouver corps là en dedans yon ces cliniques là a même là si moi a touché vitement à sous saison hurricane dans cyclone là 1er juin c'est jour nous a toujours fait préparation supposé faire préparation d'avance de ça il vient faire nous changer là il vient pour saison ça il a mené en chay 20 000 là dans chay maladie qui peut disparaître il a parlé des bagages comme la fièvre dengue maladie à hot water leptospirosis tout ça en dedans il a dit nettoyer place ou nettoyer canal faire assurer la panne pièce côté pour maigouin pon toutes ces bagages ça tient place au net hot zodi parce que il a dit toutes ces bagages ça dans saison hurricane depuis nous pli glo ça veut dire 800 pour ça nous ka il pli possible quand akuya ka vie encore laver la main mettez masou faire assurer sous senti malade ou aller voir un docteur et ben si y a pas sorte caillou sous pas briser aller avec encore souple changer nous en saison hurricane quand dit Jesse te gadi l'autre jour c'est titinton c'est tipak bisou là continuer mettez là nous kay briser bagay ça nous en dedans toujours Jesse.
Thanks for that. What we're going to do right now is go to a short break. When we come back, we speak to Mr. Gordon Julien. He is the Public Relations Officer at the Bankers Association of St. Lucia, and he's also the Country Manager of Republic Bank. Stay tuned for this important interview on moratoriums, frequently asked questions on moratoriums, coming up after this break.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Welcome. If you're just joining, we are live from the Government Information Studios. We thank you so much for watching. This is live on NTN from the GIS Studios, continuing with this morning's program, COVID-19 Response Report. In studio at this time, we have Mr. Gordon Julien. He is the Public Relations Officer at the Bankers Association of St. Lucia, as well as Country Manager at Republic Bank. A special good morning once again to you, Mr. Julien.
Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Carlton. Good morning, listeners and viewers on NTN and on social media sites. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much. We want to open with, establishing what a moratorium is for the purposes of all our viewers out there who have varying understandings of this whole program that has been rolled out as per, the social stabilization plan of the government of St. Lucia. The Bankers Association has been very responsive to those queries and concerns with this list of frequently asked questions. Could you start by establishing what a moratorium is, and in this case, this situation, this COVID-19 reality, how can persons tap into this facility?
Okay, thank you very much, Jesse. Let me first of all acknowledge the fact that I am aware that there have been a number of programs in the past explaining the whole issue of the moratorium. The governor of the central bank was on a program himself explaining how the moratorium works. But I think it's very important that that customers and listeners hear from the banks themselves, who are the ones that's administering and making this program available to persons who were impacted by the COVID-19. So, in answer to your question, a moratorium is really a period of time where persons would not be required to make any payments, whether it's payment of principal and interest on their loans. And it's really designed to provide cash flow relief for persons. As you know, when you've been impacted by COVID-19, you've lost your job, or a member of your family have lost your job, there is a cash flow, an immediate cash flow impact. And the moratorium is designed to provide cash flow relief so that you can focus on the essential items, whether it be food, putting food on the table, medical care, in the case of a business, paying for the inescapable expenses like, most businesses would have been on a scaled down operation, but they still need to pay basic salaries, supplies, and that type of thing. So the moratorium, which is a period of time where you're not required to make any payments, give you that sort of cash flow relief so that you can survive.
Okay. And speaking on whether it is automatic, can we just expect all of the banks to just offer this moratorium to all its clients, or speak to that? Okay.
So the banks, first of all, when the COVID situation came about, the banks were very quick off the blocks in terms of putting the moratorium program in place to offer support to their customers. Many banks had a situation where you had to opt in. So in other words, you had to do a simple application or simple request. In some cases, go online and just fill out a simple form. So it's a very simple process. So you could say, well, hey, listen, I need the moratorium. And then once you meet all the requirements in terms of your delinquency and that type of thing, or your loans was current, or your loans had not passed a certain threshold in terms of delinquency, then it was pretty much granted to customers. Okay. So that's basically how it works. In other cases, some banks, what they did, they provided it across the board, so customers had the option to opt out of it. So the bank say, okay, I'm giving it to all my customers, but if you don't require it, you can write to us, call us, and say, please remove me. I can make my loan payments, so I don't need the moratorium, so you can remove me from that, right? But in some cases, many cases, it was a situation where you have to opt in, you have to actually make a request for the moratorium.
Understood. I would just want to know from you, are all of the banks in St. Lucia offering this moratorium, and if so, which facilities does this moratorium apply to?
So all the banks, all the members of the Bankers Association are in fact offering the moratorium, and the moratorium is offered on all the credit products. So you have your mortgages, your vehicle loans, your credit cards, for businesses, your overdraft facilities, your line of credit, and those types of facilities. Now, I just want to put one caveat there. With regards to the credit card, I know some banks are not necessarily offering a moratorium per se on the credit card. Because if you understand how credit card works, credit card is a high interest product, so it's a higher cost product than say a regular loan. And most banks, for a credit card, all you're required to do is make in the normal course of business, is make the minimum payment. And the minimum payment is really just the interest that is due for that period of time. And that's the minimum requirement for credit cards. So granting a moratorium on a credit card would effectively mean saying to the customer that you're not required to make that interest payment on the credit card, which really from a financial standpoint, it is sort of doing a disservice to the customer. Because what you're going to have is a situation where the interest that is accrued on that credit card will continue to accumulate, and then you will be required to pay interest upon interest in a sense, because that is the
nature.
Yeah, exactly. So for some institutions, while some have been offering the moratorium on credit card, others have been saying all you're required to do is make the minimum payment, which is just the interest that is applicable for that particular product for the time period.
Okay. Can you also speak to the period during which this moratorium is being covered, and also whether it be a few months, during this time, will there be penalties that are accumulated for every month that the moratorium is applied to? Okay.
So the moratorium is, in many cases, from 3 to 6 months. So if you requested a 6 months moratorium, then we're in the month of June, so pretty much you'll be into the 3rd month of that moratorium. If you would have requested a 3-month moratorium, then June would pretty much represent the final month of that moratorium. Now, during the period of the moratorium and on the products for which you've requested the moratorium, there'll be no penalties or fees or penalties on those loans or those facilities for which the moratorium is granted.
Okay. In terms of, I just have a question here. Can I select which facilities I want the moratorium to be applied to, or must it be applied to all of my loan facilities?
So again, if you are opting in, then you would indicate to the banks the loan facilities that you want, or the credit facilities that you want the moratorium on. Customers may typically have a number of credit facilities, but the moratorium request will be based on their level of cash flow. So if, for example, there are 2 persons in a household that is working and one person would have lost their job, there's still some income coming in. So the household, the individual, the customer may decide, I would want a moratorium on just some of my credit facilities, not all of it, based on my cash flow situation. Yes. And it's really advisable that customers continue to make payments if they can. So we recognize that not everybody would be impacted the same way. And from a pure financial planning standpoint, and bearing in mind that the interest that is deferred on the moratorium will continue to be payable down in the future, it is highly recommended from a pure financial planning standpoint that if you can make the payment, or if you can make some payment, or if you can make payments on some facilities, you continue to do so. So that once the moratorium period is over, and we've now moving into a more normalized type of situation, your cash flow has been restored, then you will not have too much of a burden in terms of getting back to where you were from a pre-COVID standpoint.
Speaking to bankers previously, we came to understand that interest will be paid, charged, on during the moratorium time.
Yes.
Can you just explain why bankers are maintaining the interest during the moratorium period?
Yeah, and that's a very common question that has been asked in terms of whether interest continues to be applied or applicable on the credit facilities during the period of the moratorium. So as I indicated earlier, the moratorium is designed to provide cash flow relief. The interest that is applicable on the loan continues to accrue. So that interest will continue to accumulate for the period of the moratorium. Once the moratorium period has been complete, then the customer would then approach the bank, and the loan would have to be restructured in a way that would, based on the customer's new cash flow situation, so that they can continue to make the payments going forward. Now, in terms of why the banks continue to charge interest. So banks the bank's balance sheet is financed heavily by deposits or depositors' funds. And in the context of a bank, that financing source represents upwards of 80% in many cases of your balance sheet. And a significant portion of those forms of financing attract a rate of interest of 2%, which is referred to as a minimum savings rate. And the banks cannot get away from that obligation to its depositors. So the bank would require to be able to collect or accrue interest on its loans so that it can continue to meet its obligation to depositors, to meet its operating costs, because staff would have to continue to be employed, the various infrastructure of the bank, the MIS, the online banking services, the security protocols, all of those things need to be maintained. So in order for the bank to be able to continue to cover these obligations, it would need to be able to recoup or collect funds on the loans that is extended, right? And the other thing too is that through it all, it is very important that banks remain stable, because once this COVID situation is over, customers will obviously be expecting that their $2 or their $100 that's in the bank is there and is safe, and they can get it when they want it. Secondly, when businesses need loans to reestablish their businesses or to expand or to get them out of the situation that they're in, they need to know that the banks are there and the banks are sufficiently stable and sufficiently capitalized so that they can meet those needs and those requests that customers have. So banks, while providing support to our customers, we have to do it in a way that is prudent and that ensures that we continue to meet our obligations to all the stakeholders involved, and we are there tomorrow and the day after and next year to meet the needs of our customers and to continue to support our economies.
Okay, let's look at post-moratorium. If you could speak on the consequences. Will the monthly payment increase on your loan? And also, what implications are there for the maturity date of the loan as well? Okay,
so if you take a situation where a customer receives a 6 months moratorium, so it means that for that 6 month period, no payment of principal and interest is paid. So what happens after the moratorium is over? That loan, which perhaps have a tenure of maybe 5 years or 10 years, whatever the case may be, it would be impossible for you to restart that loan at the expiration of the moratorium and still pay within the same time period, the original tenure of the loan, and keep the payments the same. So a couple of things would have to happen. Once the customer meets with the bank, based on the new cash flow situation, they may opt for certain options, certain situations. So they may say, well, okay, can I have an extension in the tenure of my loan, right? So that I can now make the same payment as I did pre-COVID, right? Without imposing too much of a hardship on me. But it will require the loan to go for an extended period, a longer period of time. Or if the customer has the wherewithal to, they may say, well, I have some additional funds because I started a new business during the COVID, so I can now afford to make a larger payment. right? So in that case, the customer may say, well, keep my period or the tenure of the loan the same, but what it would mean is that the customer may have to pay a higher, slightly higher installment, really to cover the period of time, the 6-month period of time, where no payments was made on the loan. No payments on principal, no payments on interest. All right? So these are a couple options that are available to customers. These are the two extreme situations, or you could have a blended kind of arrangement where you could say, well, don't extend it by 6 months, extend it by 3 months. The payments will go up slightly more. So it's a blended arrangement.
So in those cases, it would be like a refinancing?
Yes, you'd have to restructure the loan on expiration of the moratorium period.
Okay.
And that comes from a discussion between the customer and the bank.
Okay, understood. And there are cases where individuals were compromised even before COVID-19. So individuals perhaps who were already in arrears prior to the onset of COVID-19, can you speak to whether or not they will be qualified for a moratorium?
And that's a very good question. So there are customers, first of all, with the blessing of the ECCB, we were able to provide the moratorium to our customers for up to 6 months. Because prior to that, from a regulatory standpoint, banks are required to classify loans as non-performing if they get to, say, 90 days and more in arrears and that type of thing. So we needed the sanction of the ECCB, which we got. Now, what it said is that if a loan is already what is considered to be non-performing or non-accrual, so it has gotten to more than 90 days in arrears, where the bank has sort of classified that loan already as a bad loan, that's pre-COVID, so the customer was not making the payments on the loan, then those loans would not be able to, we would not have been able to provide a moratorium on those loans because those loans were already classified as a bad loan.
Okay.
The loans that were up to 90 days in arrears, so they may have had some delinquency. So the customer may have had some issues in terms of payments, 30 days, 90 days delinquency. What the central bank guidelines suggested is that we would sort of freeze that period of delinquency. So we would provide you with a moratorium, but for all practical purposes, after the moratorium period, that loan would still be considered to be 60 days in arrears or 30 days in arrears, right? So what some banks would have done is that they would say that while we offering, say, up to 60 days moratorium to our customers, if your loan was, say, 2 months in arrears, 60 days in arrears, it would not be practical to offer you the full 6 months.
Okay.
But what we'll do, we'll offer you 4 months moratorium. So that 4 months moratorium, in addition to the 2 months that you're already in arrears, would amount to 6 months, a 6 months moratorium. So the objective is really not to get the customers beyond a 6 months period in the initial instance.
Okay. And there's another question here. If my car or home insurance premium falls due and I have already applied for a moratorium and I cannot pay the premium, what should I do? So
again, we do have a number of our loans are insured. So you have a mortgage loan. The bank requirement is that you have a property insurance, right? Yes. In some cases, life insurance. If you have a car loan, then it's required that the vehicle is insured. If a customer is having challenges in terms of making their installment on their loans, whether it's a vehicle loan or property loan, more than likely they will also have challenges in making the insurance premiums as they come due, because these are annual obligations to keep your property insured. And especially as we're in the hurricane season, most persons are scrambling to ensure that their premiums are up to date. So customers have approached us, and what we've said to them is that where you're having a challenge with paying of your insurance premium, your first stop is really the insurance company. Because I know that some insurance companies would have some arrangements where they can offer, installment payments, different payment options for customers. So you approach your insurance company and explain to them and see what kind of support is available there. If there's no support that's available, then, or once you've exhausted that option, then you may come to the bank, and the bank would look at your situation on a case-by-case basis and offer you some kind of financing option for your insurance premiums, because the banks themselves have a vested interest in ensuring that its security is properly insured.
Okay,
Right?
wonderful. I think we've rounded up,
Yeah.
the bulk of, what I think are some of the burning concerns and queries in terms of frequently asked questions regarding the moratorium. Do you have any final words?
Well, I mean, I know that most persons are impacted by the. Most people are impacted by the COVID situation. The bank have a vested interest in working with its customers. We like to say that as the economy goes, so does the bank goes, and certainly as the customer goes, so does the bank goes. We are in this together. We have a vested interest in ensuring that we survive this COVID-19 situation. Certainly, I have to give kudos to my fellow bankers. I think I am really amazed and impressed with the level of collaboration I have seen among the bankers in St. Lucia, and I've worked in a number of markets. I've worked in the Caribbean, so I can make the comparison. And I'm not knocking my colleagues in other countries, right? But there's really been a high level of collaboration and responsiveness among the bankers in terms of coming together and coming together with these packages and providing the support to our customers, and responding to the queries and supporting the government programs and initiatives. So I want to say kudos to them. And I also want to say kudos to our employees, our staff members, who themselves have had to go over and beyond to continue to provide support to our customers, whether in terms of the moratorium requests, whether in terms of providing short-term credit facilities for our customers, or just responding to the various day-to-day needs. Most people tend to forget that our employees themselves have their own situations. A lot of them are homeschooling their kids. They have to attend to the extended members of family and all those things. And they've been very engaged, highly motivated, highly committed. So I want to give kudos to them as well throughout as we go through this COVID situation.
Thank you very much for that. I see how you're the PRO of the Bankers Association of St. Lucia. It's all the time we have for now. Mr. Gordon Julien, the Public Relations Officer of the Bankers Association of St. Lucia, also Country Manager for Republic Bank. Thank you so much for this interview once again. We go to break at this time. Do stay tuned. We have more important COVID-19 updates coming right after this break.
And in the latest news, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, continues to be a health emergency across the world. Caribbean people are concerned.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. And don't discriminate, cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening. We're in this together. Yeah. We all got to work with each other. Yeah. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
Red Cross volunteers from across the Caribbean, working hard to fight discrimination. So if a person should feel ill, then they will contact the authorities without hesitation.
The most vulnerable are the elderly, but the truth is it can infect anybody. So what we need is solidarity. Everyone helping everyone like a family. So
this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate, cause it might be. It very well could be. Somebody will look like you or look like me. Listening.
People around the world facing this pandemic. Coronavirus have the whole world a panic. Now is not the time to be fearful, but to be careful, supportive and empathetic.
This is the state of the society. Some people full of fear and anxiety. Yo, a lot of fake news in the community. But what we need now is more love and unity. So
this is a message to the nation. Make sure you seek out the right information from official sources like the Ministry of Health, Red Cross and the World Health Organization.
Everybody know about COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep socially distance and your proper hygiene. Wash your hands then clean. Don't discriminate, cause it might be, it very well could be, somebody will look like you or look like me. Listen, we're in this together. We all got to work with each other. Look out for our friends and our neighbor. And if you feel sick, don't be afraid to call the doctor.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. You did miss out. It's live on a very important interview we had with the Public Relations Officer of the Bankers Association of St. Lucia, Mr. Gordon Julien, and he was just responding to frequently asked questions about the moratorium. Carlton, I know during the time that we've been here, we've been seeing some questions, queries, concerns being articulated on the social media platforms, getting calls of the same, and the Bankers Association of St. Lucia has been responsive and has taken all of these questions and sought to answer them in as best a way as possible to help persons better comprehend this moratorium that is being offered by financial institutions here in this country as part of the government of St. Lucia's, the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance's social stabilization plan that he announced last month. We have a call at this time from we have a virtual concert, Carlton, that is being organized by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. And at this time, we have a call from one of the organizers. It's a virtual concert. OECS Competitive Business Unit is presenting this, Building Hope Through the Power of OECS Music. Good morning to you. Can you tell us your name and your position?
Yes, good morning, and my name is Sobers Esprit. I am the Technical Specialist for Creative Industries at the OECS Competitive Business Unit based in Dominica.
Okay. Hold on 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, so can you hear us at this time?
Yes, definitely. I'm hearing you loudly and clearly.
Okay, Miguel, if you could bring up the volume so I could hear him clearly. No. We're just trying to fix some technical issues on our end.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so can you give your full name and your designation, please?
Yes, good morning again. My name is Sobers Esprit. I'm the Technical Specialist for Creative Industries at the OECS Competitive Business Unit based in Dominica. We're part of the OECS Commission.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Esprit. If you could just tell us about this upcoming virtual concert that is being organized.
The virtual concert is part of a program of work we've been doing since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the region. And it is really a culmination of a few things we've done with the creative industry sector in recent times. We've done a series of webinars looking at the impact of COVID-19 on music, on film, on fashion, and looking at design thinking as a solution method to get us out of the situation. And it's important for us really to use the power of music because we think that music has the power really in our region. It is globally competitive. As we know, our music is well known throughout the world. And so we feel it's very important to bring our artists together, our performers together, in solidarity with those persons who have been fighting to keep us safe and who have been working hard to ensure that COVID-19 was minimized in terms of its impact. So the concert is in an effort to build hope in our people through the power of music, using, of course, a variety of musical forms played in the OECS, because as you know, the OECS is very diverse in terms of its culture, although we are similar, but there's some diversity and diverse ways in which we can look at things. So we have Creole music, mainly, so for example, in St. Lucia, you have the Dennery, the music of the Dennery segment, you have Dominica's Bouillon and Cadence Lipsto, you have also from the French islands or the French West Indies, you have dope music. But we also have a lot of soca and calypso music in the OECS. We have reggae, we have gospel and other forms of music. So the concert is really going to display the range of music we have in the OECS and different artists from the OECS. So there are 20 performers ready to perform, all come from all the member states of the OECS. We have 2 from St. Lucia, we have Rickety, and we have Shemi J from St. Lucia. So we expect really an interesting and entertaining evening of music on the 13th from 7:30 p.m.
Okay. Can you tell us about some of the other artists? Perhaps our viewers, residents in St. Lucia and St. Lucians in the diaspora would definitely recognize them.
Yes, so let me just go through the list. So we have from out of Grenada, we have 2 really talented soca artists from Grenada, Little Natty and Thunder. From St. Vincent, we have Fireman Hooper, who is very well known, and we have Hans John. I believe he's a former Soca Monarch winner in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. From Martinique, we have Olan, who is a Zouk artist, very well known. She's from the Indian Ocean, but has been living in Martinique for many years. And also we have emerging talent in Stella Gomi out of Martinique. From Dominica, we have the really inspiring song of Mr. Henderson, who is probably one of the best known singers and songwriters from Dominica, along with a combo of the Triple K International. So just a few of the members will be performing, along with Colton T, who is a raga, dance hall, and also does bowling as well from Dominica. From Antigua, we have the Soca Monarch winner from Antigua, Dennis Menet, and we have Claudette Peters, who is very well known from Antigua. From St. Kitts and Nevis, we have Dujon Cesar, who is a reggae artist from that country, and a young star, an emerging star called Chanel McMaster. From the VVI, we have Martino Mac, who is, or Tino, his stage name is Tino, who is a well-known soca star in that part of the region. We have also from Montserrat, the Soca Monarch winner from Montserrat, Trevor Pollard. And from Anguilla, we have Umari Bang, who is very well known both in the cricket world as well as in the reggae world. And from the island of Guadeloupe, we have Admiralty, probably one of the best known dancehall, reggae, and Zouk stars coming out of Guadeloupe in recent times, along with Christine Odibol, who is a former member of the Zouk Machine Band from Guadeloupe. So we have 20 stars, and the event will be hosted by Leroy Warwick-Charles from Dominica, who is a very well-known DJ on Dominica's radio and involved in Creole music for a very long time. We have Natalie Clark out of Antigua, and she's from ABS Radio and Television. And from St. Lucia, we have Hollywood HB, who is, of course, well known in media circles in St. Lucia, is a DJ. So we expect a really interesting and entertaining night. But for us, the real importance of this thing is really to connect with our communities, to engage our communities through music. So we will be talking a lot. We expect the artists to deliver their messages in music. But also, it is also an opportunity for us to get to know some of the persons and groups that have been doing work in the music business in the islands for many years. Some of them unknown, unknown outside of their home countries, but very, very well known in their countries. So we hope to give them more exposure and to bring light to the work that they're doing.
Wonderful. Can you just go over the date and time, and what does it cost to enjoy this concert?
Yes. So the OECS, with the support of all its artists, the management, and a strong support team we have, led by Mr. Herrick Horn from the Island Network of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Marva Williams from the Dominica Festival Commission. They are the co-producers of the show. So the concert is free to the public, and the concert will be live streamed on the OECS Commission Facebook page. So once the concert is on, you can go on the Facebook page and you'll be able to access it, as well as the YouTube channel on the OECS Commission. I know that a number of entities are also going to be sharing their platforms with their audiences across the region and elsewhere. It starts at 7:30. We expect the show to be about 2.5 hours in duration. So we are not trying to be too long. We're trying to have a compact event that is more impactful than long in duration. So it starts at 7:30 on Saturday, and it's live stream on the OECS Facebook and YouTube channels.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Esprit. Any final words?
Yes, we just want to say to all of our St. Lucian fans, to the people of the good people of St. Lucia, we want you to join us in the celebration of music, in showing solidarity with the peoples of the OECS, and of course, we hope and we're looking forward to, with great anticipation, to the performances from the artists from St. Lucia and artists from the other OECS countries.
Okay, Mr.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you very much for that. Are you Dominican?
Yes, I'm Dominican.
Okay, you're the second Dominican we've had on set for the day. Thank you very much for that quick information there in terms of the OECS virtual concert. We will be promoting that activity until the day comes, yeah?
Yes, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Mr. Esprit there from the OECS Competitive Business Unit is speaking to us about the upcoming OECS virtual concert featuring 20 artists from the region, building hope through the power of OECS music. And that event is scheduled for the 13th of June from 7:30 p.m. It's a free concert and you can access it via the OECS Facebook page where it will be streamed live. Carlton?
Merci bien, Jesse. Encore, on est nous t'ai parlé da by Monsieur Esprit, Sobaz Esprit, et puis ici, yon Dominicain mais qui a parlé de nos capacités, qu'on yon qui a organisé yon concert nous kaini, et qui a en chai c'est même ces petits pays OECS, là nous parler de ces pays OECS là encore Saint-Vincent, Dominique, Montserrat, Antigua, Guadeloupe, Martinique et puis nous parmi l'autre Grenada et puis au cas ça yon ces bagages là qui j'ai fait là qu'on nous toujours qu'a dit ici là il vient pour Covid en chaque secteur trouver quoi yo affecté yon ces secteurs c'est pour les artistes, les musiciens si vous voulez dire et quand il faut qu'on nous tende hard monsieur Esprit pour mener ces artistes ensemble pour travailler qu'on yon pays parmi toutes. Il dit là, il est nécessaire pour yon go activité ça à côté nous kaiwe en chaque ces artistes là ces petits pays qui viennent ensemble. Qui joue ça après coup vendredi le 13 juin 7h30 au souhait ça y est ou ça suivio ça kay fait à présent toute bagaille ça sur internet ou kaiwe là sur page Facebook OECS Commission ou ça aller là et ben YouTube. Activité ça encore c'est pour les artistes pour mener ensemble et nous ka à peu près 20 artistes qui performer et puis des chaque secteur parmi eux comme on dit Grenada, Saint-Vincent, Martinique ou ça Martinique ni Zukio, Dominique Yoni Bouillon ici à nous dernier segment nous quoi ici yon moun ka espérancer yon épée en différence. Encore attention là ko yo ka lan batit là yo ka di yo ka mener les vini yo ka bâti courage en bas servi pouvoir musique en OECS dans cet pays quoi ça c'est un bon moment pour les vini pour vendredi les 13 mois ça ben où ça a une opportunité ça pour participer encore c'est moun ça fait possible par commission OECS là puis tout encore comme on dit attention c'est pour mener ces artistes nous ensemble pour mener OECS là nous a parlé about un chai bagay là il pour faire puis ces petits pays ça va venir ensemble ben si pas en présent qui joue à présent nous avoir un chai ka fait. Avant ça, monsieur, vitement, vous savez, nous sommes ici, nous sommes, comment nous sommes ici, bon matin, qui est parlé de nous, monsieur Gordon Julien, c'est lui qui PRO, là, il venu pour l'association Banque Saint-Lucie, et là, il venu pour Banque République Saint-Lucie, c'est lui qui manager là. Et encore, vous savez ici, qu'on nous a information et développement, il y en a ces bagages là, on attend constant, là, il venu pour l'eau, là, il venu pour mortgage, qui motoka, qui caille, ça y est, on attend nous a dit constant ici, ça banque là, on fait, on attend moratorium, ça, et puis, bon matin, Jesse, teni, conversation, ça, et puis, Piara, c'est question, mon gars, de toutes les, on attend, nous a dit ici, à toutes les, qui ça qui moratorium? Ou savent, ça c'est un temps banque là à délai 3 pour 6 mois côté on a opportunité côté ou pas ni pour payer mortgage et ben l'ONU et ben commitment ça on y avec banque là et ça monsieur Julien Gadi yo ka ba ou ça ben banque là ka offert ça pour où ça servir l'argent ça pour faire un l'autre bagaille pour où ça un petit soulagement et puis où ça expressement à présent qu'on nous ka combattre Covid et nous dans en saison hurricane ou ça y est parmi l'autre bagaille moun ha pèt travail yo des moun ka travail dans kay yon a délai la situation tous les deux quoi banque là même combien savent en dernier faut pour moun ça un petit soulagement banque là ka offert un moratorium yon a ces bagaille là qui bien important ou pas ça arrêter acide kayou et quoi banque kanik ba moratorium ça moratorium là on ni pour parler bay banque là di yo ni l'ONU ni mortgage et parler ba yo di yo c'est 3 mois vle yo chebe moratorium nan pour bon vle pour 6 mois ou ni pour entrer ay parler ba yo si on a ces ba qui bien simple yo parler di a c'est en compagnie banque ni ya sur internet ou ça ni plein application en compagnie ou ni pour entrer en dedans en compagnie banque bay tout monde qui ni mortgage avec l'autre ni en compagnie banque bay à dan monde trouver qu'on informé y en a ces questions qui mandé encore j'ai cité mandé là vini pour yon moun qui a pas ka bien payer moun qui pas ka payer aller yon moun qui n'a vu record avec banque là est-ce que ça un moratorium ça et question c'est réponse là monsieur Julien n'a ba c'est 3 mois pour 6 mois c'est ça qu'on fait si ou ni 3 mois sous mortgage l'ONU côté ou même pour payer avec banque là hakave ou ni 3 ka payer yo pas kay offre 6 mois encore quand sou hani 3 ça yo kay fait yo kay offre balance 3 pour faire 6 et pour kay vie tout fait quoi en situation côté ou kay ni pour parler ba yo et fait bagay marché si moratorium nan en bout moratorium nan qui ça ou ça fait là encore question là il fait pour ça ou kay ni pour vie en tout avec dit c'est moun qui situation di yo vle plus temps because à délai ou de ka payer 10 ou teni pour payer pour 10 mois ou peut-être qu'il brisait en l'autre 12 mois en l'année ou ni pour aller parler avec ces moun là ça c'est discussion nous tenir bon matin et puis monsieur Julien comme on dit c'est l'équipe Yaroli qui a parlé là vini pour association Banque Saint-Lucie il bien important aider pour vous aller aille parler avec ces moun en tout Jesse mande qui ça qui dernier parole il dit il ja travaille en secteur ça qui content pour qualité collaboration qui a fait parmi ces Jean-Banque là qui parlait spécifiquement là vini pour ces travailleurs ces banques là il dit yo tout ni problème yo tout ni famille mais yo a tout fait quoi yo ka travail yo effort pour combattre et puis pour yo aller devant il dit ça c'est un bon bagage qui a dit il a tiré chapeau par ces moun ça a dit et bravo et quand parmi l'autre bagage il a dit là vini pour banque là changer c'est un business aussi et puis yo vle savent là où sorti en bas à affaire pandémie Covid là ou kaisa aller otio et yo kaisa plutôt là toujours yo kaila pour hodia pour temps pour venir qu'on a trouvé quoi informer nous quoi nous version anti takan ça nous continuer ici bon matin soit mercredi bon matin.
Thanks for that, Carlton. Our time is running out, but we just want to give you some quick updates from the Department of Health and Wellness, a new press release, operation of services at the community wellness centers. Please note, as the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to control the spread of COVID-19, the Community Health Nursing Service informs the public that all clinics except a doctor's clinic at the various community centers will be conducted only by scheduled appointments. Now, in order to adhere to the physical distancing measures, persons are are asked to call or visit their respective wellness center to make an appointment. A doctor's clinic at the various wellness centers will be available on the scheduled day from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Now, therefore, persons are advised to avoid all coming in the morning unless there is an emergency. Instead, they want people to come to visit the doctor throughout the course of the day. In addition, the eye clinic will resume at the Owen King EU Hospital on June 12, 2020 by appointments only. Clients are asked to wait for a telephone call that will indicate when they should visit for their eye check. Persons are asked not to visit the hospital unless they have an appointment. All persons coming to conduct a business at the various community wellness centers must wear a mask and adhere to the rules of physical distancing. But before entering the facility, persons' hands will be sanitized with an alcohol-based solution. Again, the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to take all necessary precautions, as in this case, to ensure the safety of all patients and staff during the COVID-19 pandemic and to make everyone as comfortable as possible whilst they wait and seek care. And finally, we have an update. The government is facilitating the repatriation flight for 94 St. Lucians stuck in the United States today. There's a flight that is coming through today, scheduled for 12:30. Just to read from the press release coming in from the Office of the Prime Minister, efforts by senior leadership of St. Lucia's Representative's Office in the United States and the St. Lucia Tourism Authority will result in a JetBlue repatriation flight on June 10th, that is today, from New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport. A JetBlue 8181, which is expected to arrive at 12:30 p.m., will bring home 94 nationals who had been stuck in different parts of the United States, notably students, parties who had their visas expired or were soon to expire, and nationals who traveled to the United States for medical purposes. Please note that the Department of Health and Wellness, through the embassy and consulates, has informed the carrier and all returning nationals of the protocols that will be observed upon arrival, including mandatory screening by port health personnel and subsequent transfer to a government-operated quarantine facility for a 14-day period. The minister responsible for external affairs, the Honorable Sarah Flood-Bobra, commended her North American team who coordinated this effort along with the leadership of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority. She also expressed gratitude to others who were instrumental in making this flight a reality for our nationals. JetBlue and Goodwill and brand ambassador Mr. Taj Weeks as well was instrumental in ensuring that this happened today. The Consulate of St. Lucia to Martinique is also facilitating the repatriation of 10 citizens who are expected to arrive in St. Lucia on Thursday this week as well. The Department of External Affairs and the government continue to explore the most feasible options to facilitate the speedy repatriation of nationals that's desirous of returning home. And nationals are reminded to keep in regular contact with the St. Lucian Embassy and Consulate, along with the Office of Diaspora Affairs. So there you have it, the government of St. Lucia making good on its promise to return nationals who are desirous of getting back home, desirous of being repatriated. They are making good and having these nationals be brought back home. Quite wonderful news for many families who were concerned about the status of their children, their relatives, their loved ones. We're getting some real progress in respect to this repatriation process that we saw beginning with cruise line workers last month, and now we're seeing more St. Lucians returning home from North America, thankfully so, Carlton.
Oui, Jesse, ça sous un bon nouvelle, là il pour faire Covid, rappelez les nouvelles là nous ici c'est un chat information et puis information ou vous savent ça moi content pour apporter que nous ni information qui sorti département qui est responsable pour affaire nous l'autre pays parmi l'autre bail finance et puis les vini pour économie parmi l'autre bagaille création travail là où ils savent aujourd'hui nous kay bon midi et demi à peu près 94 7 lycéens qui arrivent ici à bord JetBlue 8181 et puis là c'est moun ça en parmi yo maman qui a l'école en parmi yo moun qui ni visa yo qui te kay expiré et puis en parmi yo moun qui a point traitement l'autre pays c'est moun ça kay vini ici yo kay arrivé ici à midi et demi. Bonne nouvelle tout bonnement encore ou kay sa ministre qui responsable pour affaires nous la honorable Sarah Bobin il a dit nous là il a dit merci pour ces moun qui coordonner ça parmi ça il dit là il vini pour ces ambassadeurs noirs il l'emmène en monsieur Tajwix aussi trouver quoi informé demain nous kay en compagnie discours ça qu'a sorti hod Martinique yo kay ici quoi encore là yo ka dit merci pour toutes ces gens qui fait possible pour mener ces citoyens nous via Saint-Lucie 94 et puis 10 Saint-Lucie à son bonne nouvelle bon matin nous ka fermer nous ka dou merci tellement nous ka quoi ou apona ba avec développement nous ba c'était yon ou apprécier ou ça jeune puis nous encore monsieur vendredi si Dieu veut à même là ni un bon week-end demain c'est holiday nous ka quoi ou kay
Absolutely, Corpus Christi. Again, we want to thank each and every one of you for watching and listening closely. NTN, the Information Command Center for the nationwide response to COVID-19, is the #1 location for all of the important updates that are coming out of the government of St. Lucia with respect to our response to COVID-19 here on island. We thank you for keeping abreast. We thank you for staying tuned. And we have the regulars on the social media platform, Facebook. If I could just mention Cynthia Labadie, Dawn Marie McDonald, as usual, always supporting and giving us words of encouragement as we continue to bring you the news on a daily basis. We encourage you to stay tuned to NTN for more programming, important programming of the government of St. Lucia's affairs. And until then, until Friday, we will return with more updates regarding COVID-19. We do hope that you enjoy the holiday. Be safe. And please note also that we are continue to be under state of emergency here on island. There is a curfew. The police presence is heavy around and about the island to ensure the health and safety of the general public. Do, in your going out and coming in, make sure you wear the mask and maintain the 6-foot distance. Ensure that you use the hand sanitizer when you're entering establishments. Ensure that you have hand sanitizer with you. When boarding the buses this week, effective this week, 10 individuals can now be on a bus at a time. Of course, there's a level of flexibility being allowed with families being able to sit together, so that 10 might tip over in terms of having more persons on a bus at any particular time. Just some flexibility being given to the public at large, but we hope that you do not abuse it, and we do hope that you take every precaution to ensure that you are safe and sound from COVID-19. Again, my name is Jessie Leonce. On behalf of Carlton Cyril, the entire production team here in this building, we do hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the holiday tomorrow, and we'll touch base on Friday. Goodbye.